Okay, I wasn't going to make a video, but I've come to Porvoo and I was a bit worried because I'm only here about 5 hours, but I was like, oh, that's going to be too much, because it's really only the waterfront that I thought. But I came to the old railway station and now I'm following the old railway track. So this is such a cool and unexpected thing that you can do in Porvoo. Is you've got this old railway track. It's a disused, I can assure you. Like, that's not even up for debate. I know that it seems quite clear now, but I can tell you down there no trains are coming from, because there's a sign in the middle, like a metal sign in the middle. Yeah, and this is a one-track system, so a train's definitely not coming from behind me. I suppose a train could technically come from in front if there's not a sign in front of it, but I'd see it, and beyond that I don't know where it would be going, because it would just hit a sign down there. But this is such a cool experience in Porvoo, and yeah, I mean, I've been walking for about, I want to say about 20 minutes now. I stopped for about 20 minutes of walking actually, and when we go down there I'll show you the abandoned train station. It's right next to the river, so the river part where you can get the view of the church and stuff, it's, if you just keep on going for about 2 minutes down there, you end up at the abandoned railway station. There are some abandoned carriages, probably from about maybe even as early as the 60s or 50s. But yeah, I mean, I'm just walking down here along the old railway track of Porvoo, and of course I'm entering the wilderness, so I'm hoping to see a little bit of wildlife, because I suppose I'm out of the city now. That was just the highway that goes Porvoo's on the coast, and then you got the city and then the highway. I've just gone past the highway, so it's kind of like I've left the ring road, but it's not a ring road because it's a coastal city. Yeah, how cool is this? I'd also like to highlight that this is my last day, or full day I should say, of my travelling, because tomorrow evening I'll be landing in Milano. But what a great way to end, and I've been saying this quite frequently recently. This is such a calm tranquil way to end my time in my travels, and you know, I think about the mad things that I've been doing, and what a better way to do it than walking along an abandoned railway line into the Finnish countryside. I'm in the Finnish countryside to finish my journey. Yes, yes, that is a yes. That's an excellent yes. My consistency in these videos are going to be off, because sometimes I'm going to be wearing my camera and other times I'm not. Yes. Okay, so this is an abandoned station, actually. It's marked on Google Maps. You can see that the lines become more abandoned now. Yeah, this is the Kiala station. There is now a path that runs alongside, so the old station name. So rather than walk along this, as you can see this is heavily overgrown, I'm going to actually walk along the road now that goes through it. Just over there was when I just stopped filming. So it's not too disused in terms of the distance, but now it's a little bit more disused. I'll walk alongside for a bit. Unless of course it turns away, in which case I'll have to rejoin. But that's what I find so weird, is that looks brand new, that little bridge. So maybe they're trying to bring it back. But then you got all these overgrown sections here. And I did notice when I was walking the smell of fresh varnish on the wooden, I forget what the things that keep them in place. I think they're called slots or something. And that smell of fresh varnish. And that part really was back there, not you know, just seemed to be disused also. Whether they're trying to bring it back, I don't know. I have a feeling that if I go in here, this is a trench, so I gotta jump well. Ah, yes. I think here on out it's gonna be very overgrown. It's not as bad as I thought it was actually. There's a bone there. Looks like of a small animal. Smell of varnish is gone. So yeah, I don't know what they're doing back there, because this is the only connecting part, so if they're bringing it back, they better bring back this section. I sounded like Jonah Hill. So my plan is now, I think it's about 1:10, so I've nearly been walking for about 2 hours. My bus leaves at 4. I'm gonna go to a place called Haxey. That's probably about 30 minutes on the map away from here, and then I'm gonna go back the way that I came. I have had a look. I could go a bit further if I had time, but it would be a back and forth, because I did think, oh, if I had time I could have if I'd have done research, I could have headed towards Helsinki. It doesn't actually go to Helsinki, it does join another line, and that looks like a potential freight line going to the coast, so I don't think it would stay abandoned the whole way. But I'm gonna go to Haxey, to the abandoned station there, and then head back to Porvoo, and it'll probably be a bit of time to explore the town and then head back to Helsinki. But if you are an adventurer, if you like adventure, if you like exploration like I do, if you go to Helsinki, come to Porvoo and do this walk along this abandoned railway track, because it is in the countryside. It's enjoyable. Little parts are a little overgrown, but nothing that you can't get through. And this is the height of summer, by the way. This is August, so this is as overgrown as it gets. The second you get into September and October here, all of this is going to be dying because it's going to be winter. Obviously, if you came here in winter, chances are the tracks would be covered with snow. So this is probably a summer activity here. I've looked, there are no, it says moose and bears are not usually seen here and seen more north, which probably means that you don't get them here. And it is quite a lot of farmland along the way. But definitely worth a trip if you like the outdoors, if you like a bit of adventure, if you like a bit of exploration. This is probably an activity that you'd enjoy. This definitely isn't for everyone. Not everyone likes hiking, not everyone likes, being in the outdoors and wading through plants and what have you, but this is a good activity that I enjoy. So get yourself to Porvoo and walk along the abandoned railway. As I said, to go the whole way would probably take about 3 to 4 hours each way. So if you wanted to do all the way to where the line joins that other line, you'd probably have to allocate 3 to 4 hours. Based off of what I'm seeing on the maps, probably about 3 hours. So if you are looking and thinking, oh, I'd want to go the whole way, I wish I could, I just don't have time, then you would need about 3 to 4 hours each way. So 6 to 7, probably 7 to be safe. So I am now approaching the Helski abandoned train station. You can just see it here up ahead. Quite a lot of little lizards here running along the side of the track. So it's now actually a bus station. So Haxi Hacks is the name of the station. And yeah, you can see these stations used to be clearly very small. I'm guessing the timetable that's there is now the timetable of the bus that runs. Yeah, it's the best timetable. Guy's bike there. But as you can see, the abandoned railway, it keeps going. We'll just go over this crescent and see what happens. Because it does actually look like the track ends. No, it doesn't. This is one of those things you don't expect. And the time is now 1:28, so I was right on my timings. What? I don't know if you can see that, but that train is actually operating on here. Definitely isn't going that way. But it does look like the train does operate. Maybe for special occasions. But nevertheless, that would explain why that part was new. But then the sign stops it, so it's clearly not usually used. It's dead cool. So, this is my cue to head back. It is 1:30, it's taken me about 2 hours to get here, it took me about 2 hours to get back, so that'll be 3 o'clock back in Porvoo, quick look around Porvoo, and then the bus back to Helsinki. Yes! I'll have a look at the timetable just in case, because that train was... No, I mean, look at this. I mean, that's fallen a while ago, and maybe the train line just shut down recently, actually. I think that's probably the most likely thing. Because, yeah. So this is the path that I went on for about 1 minute, and we're coming up to that new bridge that I highlighted that was strange. So this is that bridge, that new bridge, and as you can see, I actually have to be careful there because it's rained. So it might be slippy, but as you can see, this is brand new, and even this part, like, this is newly laid, so I don't know quite what's happening with that. And then we come up to very overgrown views. Went past that. And this is the Kitska station that we passed on the way here. So, overgrown part is nearly finished. It's just over by those trees that we go to normal. So, I'm now waiting on the platform. Kiala, that's what it's called. So, Kiala, and then, yeah. So over there is the end of the overgrown sections. So we're now coming out of the overgrown sections, and this is going to be, I believe, if I remember rightly, a clear path all the way back to Porvoo. Yes, no more going through long grass. We have clear railroad all the way back now. So this is a sign that shows that this is an abandoned railway. As you go further on, just here, the sign screwed into the railway tracks. I think it can be removed. So maybe it is like a temporary, like they put trains on this for like a special event or something. But just up here, we're coming up to the old railway station, the signs say. And across from that is, a little bit further down, is the town. And actually there's an old fort just up here, on the other side of the river. So it is about, so it's 10 to 3 now, so that's just over an hour. So that's over an hour. Yeah, I should have time. It turns out that even though I was worried about the 5 hours being too much, it wasn't. It's actually quite tight. So if you come into Porvoo and you want to do this walk along those train tracks, give yourself a bit of time, because there are different things to do in Porvoo actually. So this is the old railway station. It's starting to rain now, so hold up. So you got all of the old railway carriages. There is CCTV because they say don't climb on them, obviously. But yeah, I mean, they look quite old. So, I mean, I'd say the new, at youngest, maybe 80s, maybe. And again, I'd stick to 50s or 60s just because of the design and the fact that it's wooden panels on the side. This one up here is definitely, you know, 50s, 60s at the youngest, because it's just wooden panels. And then you have the old, what I imagine is the old station here. But then again, I think this might be a maintenance thing, and the station might be further around to the left, because the tracks do bend towards the left. So, and that building with the clock looks like an old station. Actually, that also looks like an old maintenance thing. So yeah, not too sure what is what here. So, but that's the old railway line in Porvoo. Yes. I'll see what time I get to the bridge and see if there's time to go to the old fort. I've just realised this is the old station because that's the platform. So this was the station. Now the town's just up on the left. I will have time, so I will be going to the fort. It says it's 15 minutes away. It's 3 o'clock, and it'll be about 15-20 minutes to the station. So I'll have me at the station hopefully about 3:40. So I might, yeah. So everything should work out quite nicely. and if not, I'll run. So there is the old fort. In my understanding, I think it might be buried, and up ahead is the town of Porvoo. They are rebuilding or building the bridge, but you can see the town of Porvoo does actually look very nice. So, cross the pedestrian bridge and move to the left. So cross the pedestrian bridge and head towards the left. So 300 meters in this direction is the old hill fort. But you can see the old town is really a nice place to visit. So here's the old fort, or the hill fort. So look at which direction we need to be moving in. Yeah. So it's up there, in essence. I don't think that that path isn't the one that you take. It's a nice little town to visit. I'll perhaps feel a little less rushed if I had booked the 4:30 bus even, not even... The buses here are weirdly frequent, it's like every 15 minutes. This is about an hour away from Helsinki, the centre. You could take a proper bus, which you'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's quite weird because it is every 15 minutes or so. It says straight ahead, but I think this one I feel like we can do. So we will cut across. This isn't too steep, so this will save a bit of time. Yes. Problem is it has been raining, you see, so everything is a little bit more slippy. Oh, that was a good decision. That was a really good decision. It's saved me literally seconds. Oh. I don't know what makes this a hilltop fort and not just a hilltop. I'm not seeing any remnants of a fort. Not even on Google Maps. The pictures. It's just a hilltop. Ooh. A hilltop covered in trees. Okay, so if you press for time, Could this have been a moat? Maybe it is like buried, I don't know. But yeah, I have no idea what makes this a hilltop fort. Maybe there's something that I'm missing, but it looks like just a hilltop to me. Not gonna lie. Yeah, this is the hilltop. And again, the land formations do perhaps indicate something was built here and then it's been covered. That's a sign. The sign will give all. It does say prehistoric hilltop fort. So who? That woman's taking a picture of the bark. She's barking mad. Protected by moats, the builders dug. Yeah, so it's a hilltop that they dug out. I don't think things. I presume it would have been wooden, so I'm guessing prehistoric, like Viking type times. So everything's gone. But yeah, I mean, it was. Yeah, I'm guessing, yeah, this was a fort. And the moat would have been this. And then you would have had a fence around the edge maybe, and then some houses or whatever in here. Makes sense. Time to head down to the village, town, to the bus. So this gives the answer. There's the fort, there's the river. Yeah, as I was, would have been wood. I think there would have been, looks like there would have been two moats. Or a moat, a dugout area and then a moat, or a moat and then a dugout area. Past the church to the bus, 20 minutes before the bus leaves. Bob on! Yes. So you can see the church, the bell tower, and of course the view to the river. And this is the old town of Porvoo. So when I walk through it, which needs to be at a steady old pace to get the bus, you can appreciate the town itself. So it's right down here, I think, and then just follow it all the way down. Yeah, so where these cars are coming out of. And this road goes all the way to the bus station, I believe. Oh. So I'm at the station. It is 4 o'clock and my bus is arriving. Like 2 buses have gone past in the 20 minutes that I'm heading to Helsinki, so I'm getting the OB7 line. The bus company I'm using is Omnibus. It's seems like it's the main bus company here, but there are quite a few. But here we go. You pick your seat.
Please go. Joo, kiitos.
Thank you. So, omnibus again. They run like every 15 minutes. Seat 39. Six and 31. Buses don't seem that long. But this is going to be about 55 minutes to Helsinki. Get me in about 5 o'clock. Ready for dinner. So, Helsinki. And I'm back in Helsinki. So OB7, it costs about 8 to 10 euros, depending on the time that you get it. But it's a trip well worth doing.